What's that?
I got
What's that, a camera?
It's my phone.
Or phone?
I got a present for you from.
Okay.
It's from Eric.
Okay.
I'll see if you recognise it.
What's that phone over there?
It's okay.
Oh my God.
You know who it is?
Well, of course. It's the band.
Yeah. And you can't play it. You haven't got CDs, but we can put it on a tape for you.
Well, it's not recorded.
Yeah.
How can it be recorded? He must have recorded it.
Yeah, he's there. He was on the ship with you.
And of course he was. He was a bugger. Dave gave him the sack. I'll tell you the issue. What, he actually recorded something on the boat.
I think so.
Let's have a look.
Oh, it's got
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
the star. Let the star in. Jazz at the star
Oh,
in.
no, this is me and Don. This is, look, this is Eric playing with Diane Mitchell and Dennis Powers.
Oh.
Not on the boat.
Yeah, but you're in it as well. You're on the CD.
Of course I'm on. I was a part of the bloody band for 7 years.
When was this then? What year was this?
Hang on. Jazz at the Star. Eric must have done a gig.
Yeah.
Diane in Barry had a regular band, but he was most probably a dep.
Diane was the singer?
Yes.
Okay.
But Eric was never regular with us. So he must have been, oh no, it could have been, he died, it's in the awful, I can't think of people who died, a great player. Well, Eric is as good as the other, Eric was a good player, very good player, very technical man. He was actually more of a pro at one time than me. He was more of a professional commercial aspect. You could sight read and I can't think of the name of the other guitar, but Diane had a regular band and sometimes used the guitar player, the other guy, or Eric, or it could be anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone who was available for, there was hardly any money. It was a Sunday to lunchtime gig with a meal. There was a meal and a Sunday gig in the Star, Dennis Powers. So when you showed me that, I thought it was on my Mary. No, I didn't think he recorded it on my Mary.
Yeah.
Unless he had a cassette machine or something. So,
yeah, like you do.
no, I didn't have anything on that.
Yeah, but you record on tape now.
Oh yes, yeah. But I didn't have anything on the Mary, nothing whatsoever.
Okay.
So when you showed me that, I thought it was he recorded. I thought he might have recorded it on the Mary.
I think he just put the photo on.
But this year, obviously, Dave gave Eric a copy of. Well, no, he got it off the purser. Let's have a look.
Well, you can't hear it. You can't play it anyway. You haven't got a CD player, have you?
Yes, of course I've got a CD player. A stack of them. I've got CD players.
Right, well, you can.
But this is at the Star. I've most probably got a copy of it anyway. Let's have a look. Let's put that on there. I want to see the photograph for it. Whether Eric got this himself or whether Dave did, yeah. That's Dave Gill. That's some sort of handsome bass player. That's Dave Gill, the band leader. And who's this? Some arsehole.
The ginger afro.
That's Mac Phillips. And that's Eric. And this was the first band that we rehearsed for the Mary. He was a pro. And he was very demanding. And because he had a bit of a drink problem, he designated me to look after him. Correct him.
Do what?
As his friend. Tell him if he was out of bloody order. Pull him into shape. And say, Dave, if you carry on the way you're going, we're going to get the fucking sack. That's why, more than the other two. Because I was an engineer as well, and I was a forthright person who took no shit from anyone. Dave was a bit shy. He had a stammer. But I was up front with any problem. I said, Dave, even though he was the band leader, I said, Commons here, come with me. We can sort this problem out. Because I was involved in engineering, not like this pair that was just very musicians. I was in engineering, organising things, responsible. Well, I suppose they're responsible to an extent, but Dave was very shy, just stammer. And he used to look upon me as, even though I was younger, a couple of years, I was been in engineering, I was in charge, I was responsible for, because if I didn't do something, someone would be fucking killed in engineering, something would fall on them, or he looked upon me as being a responsible person. And I saved his life many times with alcohol. Because if Geraldo had come, this pair is gone. If Geraldo had come in between trips and seen him,
Who's that?
He was the agent, Geraldo. The band leader, big band band leader, Geraldo, famous, mega famous, who took the agencies down for the Queen Mary,
Was he Italian or something?
for the Italian, no, said Londoner, or Call Blimey, Londoner, Geraldo, Italian name, but had a big man in London before the war. And what he decided, when the Atlantic Queens, the two big boats, the most famous boats in the world, he decided to form Geraldo's Navy with musicians. So he was responsible for putting the musicians on the boats. That's when your dad went on. So he was the agent, you got the gig with Geraldo. So you had to sign contracts. If you were on there as a responsible person and blah blah blah, blah, and that was it. Now that photograph, that's it. He obviously got a copy exactly the same time as I did.
No, it's
I got several.
This is just a photo.
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing to do with the art.
No, I know. That is the star, Dennis Pass.
No, this is on the Queen Mary.
Yes,
Isn't there?
that is, yes.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with the music.
That is the star, Dennis Pass.
Yeah, but they're not connected. That's just a photo of you.
Well, he obviously got one at the same time. Now, I've got several of these, because this pair had the sack.
What? Eric?
Yeah.
No, he didn't tell me that. He said this
Well,
was
he wouldn't tell you it, but it was all over. I mean, we don't speak ill of the dead, but she was responsible for him, for basically,
Who?
the wife.
Oh, she's Cheryl.
She,
Cheryl.
I'll tell you the story.
Her name is Cheryl.
Okay, all right, well, I wouldn't, I did meet her once, maybe.
Yeah, she
Well,
only
what
died last
happened?
year.
This is what happened. Can you imagine this situation? We had a rehearsed band. We'd been working on it for about 6 months, the whole gig. We had a complete professional, even though I was from 8 years from engineering with Dave, and he wanted me on there to be a responsible person, to try and look after the business. Even though we were working with Geraldo, who was a highly intelligent, responsible person, who was responsible for putting in the musicians on the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth, the finest boats in the world, no question. They were the finest liners in the world, bar none. There weren't any others. Queen Mary, the whole bit. There's no question. The people will argue that all these modern things, they're all shit compared. They're not proper, fast. Without the Queen Mary, without the Queen Elizabeth, we would have lost the war. Because we lost
You're going back to the 60s now. No one's comparing nowadays to the 60s.
I know, but it's true though.
Yeah, it's true, but get on with your story.
I know.
You're getting diverted.
Well, yeah, I know, but it took thousands of Americans to their death to Normandy, if you think about it. Without the Americans, we would have lost the war. But they brought these two boats, because it was so fast. They were proper liners. so fast the U-boats couldn't catch him. That was basically it. And they brought, I got photographs home, hundreds, thousands, all hanging on the decks. They brought them across here. Most of them went to Normandy and all those terrible places, you know. Anyway, that's that. What was I saying? About Cheryl.
But Eric.
Yeah, Eric.
You were talking about Eric.
We had a rehearsed band.
Yeah.
I got tapes of it home somewhere of rehearsing a jazzy electric. Eric was the first, almost. I don't know if he was the first on there, but he was the first electric guitar player on the boat. Almost. But certainly commercial player, because when we went on, there was problems with the amplification for the guitar, and Geraldo wanted to modernise, so we could play as long as we were jazzy. He knew Dave was a jazzer, he knew I possibly was a jazzer, he knew Mac Phillips, the drummer, was a jazzer. Eric was a little bit more commercial, but he had more of an understanding, Eric, because he'd done a bit more with commercial work. But Dave was a solo piano. Dave could do anything, anything, but still can. So what happened? We rehearsed the band. You imagine this? We had some of those old things. Herb Albert, you remember Herb Albert and the Tiana Breast?
Yeah, the trumpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the early shit Beatles, which I didn't like. But Dave said we've got to do arrangements of Beatle numbers, make it a bit more commercial. We even did a Rolling Stones. I mean, it was just anti-me, that was anti-even Dave, because he was a jazzer. Had to go commercial and a living. So what happened? We worked at this for about, I don't know, 6 months, let's say 3 months, solid, every week, rehearsing different forms of commercial numbers, plus a few jazz ones. A couple of the more accessible Latin jazz numbers, like Cariba, West Montgomery, Eric liked West, well, all did, everyone liked West Montgomery, the American guitar player, and all the great players. So, without getting too heavy in the music, Dave told Eric, well, he instructed him, of course he had to, he was the boss. He said, don't get too jazz, it's got to be accessible to our audience, okay? And for dancing, Eric, Dave had to play bingo music. You know, that was an old thing in all the liners. The piano player come on for the first hour, and you play background music for the bingo. It's in a lounge. People didn't realise this. We were in the tourist lounge. Three first class ballroom, cabin class, and the tourist class. We were the best because we were the youngsters. Tourists, the cheapest way to go across the Atlantic. So we were in the tourist, right? Cabin class was an 8-piece, 7 or 8-piece band, and the big band was 17 pieces in the main ballroom. In the day, you had the straight orchestra, so in total, you had about 27 musicians on the boat, plus your dad. Notice I said that, but I said 26 musicians plus your dad. I didn't infer anything, I'm sorry. I didn't infer anything by the anecdote.
No.
For plus your dad.
Well, you said it 3 times now. Whatever you're not inferring.
Anyway, this is what happened. This is a disaster happened. First disaster. We've been 3 months rehearsing, and we all went up to London, and we went in Geraldo's office. Dave knew he had the gig. He was promised by Geraldo, because Dave had been working with Geraldo for several years on the Canadian Pacific. He'd been working with another band, with a bass player years and years later. It's incredible. I knew this bass player in London. He said, I was on the Canadian Pacific. I said, you weren't on with Dave Gilway. He said, he told me all I know. Jim Richardson. He said he was a terrible bass player when he came up. No, he wasn't terrible, but Dave was perfectionist. but he said, Jim said, he used to shout at me with chord sequences and things when he was on the Canadian. He said I said, you were on with Gil from Cardiff. He said, I can't him, guys. He said, and do you know what he said? Fucking genius. Fucking harmony, musical fucking genius. Total, well, everyone told me in the early days. He said, he can hear anything. So even your dad would admit that. Even though I don't think Dave God was your dad, but he used to argue about harmony and things. Dave was a natural, told me that. He used to argue like that. He used to argue, do you know Hot or Not? In the college, he thought he was shit. He said music was shit. Hot or Not was a Welsh composer.
Okay.
And he stood up and he said something like, in the class, well, and I don't think that he's acting, but he said something like, you're actually jazz, aren't you? He said, so funny notes, you know. He said, you're a fucking idiot or something. I said, Charlie Parker Dizzy Gillespie, I didn't think it's ever happened to this world or something. A Hot or Not, he starts to leave the room or something. Well, he told me his music was shit.
Dave said this to someone else?
No, it was to his teacher.
Okay.
Well, not his teacher, he never considered him to be his teacher because he reckoned his music was shit.
Well, why was he? Was he in uni or school or what?
No, in college, the Castle School of Music.
In Cardiff?
Yeah.
Well, what was he going to school for if he didn't like the music or the teachers?
Well, no, when he was in there, he was in the college and it was one of his teachers, one of his educators. But he said, I don't like your form of education. It's bloody crap. I don't like this Welsh crap. And then he said something about, well, of course you're in the jazz. Of course jazz is all shit. It's just a lot of funny notes or something. Well, that one gave up and he told me to fuck off. And he walked out. It's true. They all know that. My dad knows that. He was quite a, even though he was a stammer, he was quite he was a portrayer of the cause, jazz. And a lot of them said that very prudes, they didn't understand jazz or these bloody arseholes, apart from people who like Bach or something. But Hot or Not, he had a German, does that sound German? Hot or Not?
I don't know.
Hot or Not. He's a Welsh twat. He's got Hot or Not hold on the bay.
Well, you can't say that these people are terrible just because they don't like jazz. Most people don't like jazz.
But his music, oh God Almighty, you never heard anything like it.
Yeah, well, he probably thinks the same about your music.
They do, yeah, they do. I don't give a shit.
Well, he doesn't give a shit about you then.
Anyway, the end of the hall, named after Hot or Not, well, best of luck to him. He was probably a very nice man, but he got bad views. They don't understand.
I'm sure there's a Davis hole somewhere.
Those guys, he's Welsh. He's not going to understand the inner depth of a black person like Louis Armstrong. There's no swing.
Well, how do you?
If it ain't got that swing, it ain't
Not a
got...
black person like Louis Armstrong.
No,
how do
you
you
don't
think
have-
you understand it better than anyone else?
Because there's something in the soul. There's something in the soul. It's in the genes to an extent. You don't have to be black to
Well, it's
swing.
not a Welsh thing.
No, definitely not. There's nothing swings out of Wales, apart from Dill Jones, who was my piano player who left in 1958 to go to America.
There's a fair bit of coal going in. A coal go out 100 years ago.
Oh, what?
Coal, Lionel. Coal.
Coal, yeah. But,
Sheep.
sheep. Yeah. But you see, the thing is,
And leeks.
it's been proved, even Louis said, you don't have to be. It's an ethnic, it's a field. No one can teach you jazz. Even Armstrong said that. And he said, black, one Armstrong, but they all inferred it. He said there's white guys who play, well, I think several white guys play better than Louis. Harry James and all these great players, they would consider, Armstrong would consider someone like Harry James, the big man, as being a master player. Jadder, who possibly did learn classical trumpet, but incredible techniques. And then further on in the music, you had younger players who studied with these older big band players, and they developed incredible technique. But technique is only technique. Armstrong was one of the greatest originators. He was the originator within the music. One of the original, not on his progressive development, but he wasn't just on his own, but there were others as well. He would admit, I mean, he was taught by he was taught by a classical trumpet player. They called him the professor from New Orleans Symphony. When he went to the waveform, it's all in the books. When he went to the waveform, he was sent to a waveform because he had no parents.
What's a waveform?
Orphanage.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have parents. No, he didn't have parents.
Okay, I've never heard wave home before. It's an American term, is it?
No, he didn't.
It's an orphanage.
Yeah. Well, they call them waif. The Americans call them waif. Anyway, he went to the waveform, and it was put somewhere else because he found a gun with children outside or something. It's a story, whether it's true. Somehow he found a gun somewhere, not in the waveform, and he fired it in the air, and the police arrested him. It was a young little lad, and then he was put in the waveform. And when he was there, all these instruments and children were singing and playing, and they gave him a trumpet or cornet, and he always puts it down to the professor. Where did you get it from? And it was it's all in the book. He was a German, he called him a professor, German professor from the New Orleans Symphony Orchestra, who was going around teaching children. And he found that Louis had a natural, something there in the soul. He didn't really understand it, but he knew it was black. He knew there was some inner thing wanted to come out. And he taught him, I suppose, Louis said, he taught him the basic technique on trumpet. And then, well, it's just history. He just developed just a style out of all, basically, a lot of very rough black players who played a bit wobbly, not a lot of harmony, but generally noise. In comparison to Louis. Louis perfected with the German, he taught him Bach, taught him a bit of harmony, and perfected him virtuoso style on trumpet, because he was a pro German in the orchestra, and before you knew it, he became a virtuoso, playing cadenzas and things, practice. Then he developed his own style out of that. And in the first chapter of the book, I got it from the professor, but long gone, you know. But Louis was exceptional. He was an entertainer, he had pathos, there was no question he had to put up with unbelievable racism. You imagine it, in the early days, all those gash films, and he went along with it. He couldn't react against it. And those old, you ever seen those old African films with Louis? Oh God, you ever seen them? Oh my God. He dressed him up as a bloody chief, and you know, in Africa. He was from Africa. Well, he was originally, but
what did he use his voice?
Well, he was still singing, entertaining,
Yeah.
clowning around.
What happened to his voice?
He was what they call, I think that came through blowing the trumpet hard. I think that it damaged his throat. I think it was something to do with the trumpet. I'm not sure, but it might have been something to do with the trumpet, the power. Like Mario Lanza and people with the singing. It might have been, it might have been an accident. I don't know. We might never find it now.
Did he have a scar?
No. No, I think He might have had an accident or a fight or something. We don't know. Maybe not. Louis wouldn't have fought. He wouldn't have fought, but most probably so overblowing, something like that, or just damaged his throat with a cold or something, and he got a gravel voice, and he became known as. I used to remember doing. Yeah, man, yeah. You know, he used to do that, you know. Yeah, daddy, down there, daddy. Yeah, man, do you swing? You're not bad for a limey. You know, he never said that. It's something like that. Anyway, Louis, that's basically, he shot the gun, they put him in the home, and the professor told him. And that's it, end of story. And then out of that, he died, and obviously he developed styles from other people. Not only black, white as well. All the virtuoso players listened to everyone. And didn't ever consider himself to be, you know, the end in music. But he became, with his band, for the Hot 5 and Hot 7, all these early ones with his wife on piano, it was a start of an era, you know, pre-Dixieland, New Orleans jazz, you know, banjos and what they played on that cafe. It's the same sort of stuff, you know.
What cabinet?
In the cafe, you know, banjos, you know, the girl on, she don't know anything about what happened, well, she might know the history, but they played all sorts of instruments, you know. Then you had the Hot 5, Hot 7, prior 24, 27, and they defined where more or less jazz was going. They defined the whole thing. Then you had the other band, Jerry Roll Morton, with the Red Hot Peppers, which were a half-caste band. They were in sort of, they were all, you know, like opposition, you know.
So what year are you at now?
27, 28.
Well, you were 27.
No, when that all occurred.
1927?
Yeah, around
okay.
there, late 30s.
Okay.
Then you had another band who came up, who were all white. And they called themselves the original Dixieland Jazz Band. Okay? And they thought they were better than the black guys. A very good band. But it was all different things. It was all this music going on, and none was worse than the other. Jerry Roll Morton, he had a gold teeth. It's all
Is he American?
Yes, all American, but Jerry Roll was paranoid. He was half-caste guy. He had gold teeth. Brilliant piano player. A similar type of band, all Dixieland, that Orleans type of thing. You know, Dr. Jazz and all that. You know, all Dixieland banjos and nothing to do with modern jazz. What happened? Oh, but he was paranoid. He had, what's the West Indian fear? Voodoo.
Voodoo?
He suffered with voodoo all his life. He had voodoo all his life. Terrified of something. Wherever he went. He also had a card printed, I don't think the others like this, the inventor of jazz. You know, he's always better than the others, so he got a seen the card, the business card. What's his name? Jerry Roll Morton, portrayer of jazz music. That was more than Duke Ellington all the time. They weren't considered to be the originators, but Jerry Roll was he invented it. Bullshit, of course, because it all came from piano players, and most of jazz came from piano players. You know, barroom piano players playing tunes, and ragtime and all that old-fashioned piano playing. That's where it came from. So There we are, Jericho. I've seen the, you've seen the book, the card, portrayal